peace, only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We won another RTT with our Chaos Space Marines Black Legion. I was hesitant to bring this list. Basically, it's the same list as our GT that we won 5-0 with, but I wanted to kind of see how consistent it would be. So we actually brought it again to this GT. Or sorry, not this GT, this local RTT. It was a 22-man event, and we actually won this one. So we went 3-0, but we also got the most victory points, which put us in first place. I believe there was another person that was 3-0, but we had one more. I think we won by one. So we had one more victory point than they did. So we actually placed ahead of them to win first place. So this was at another store called Palladium. It's one of my 2 events that I usually go to every month. So I usually get 2 RTTs or 1 GT and RTT or something like that every month. I don't want to go 3 in a row. I probably won't have a fiance anymore, but I always try to go to at least 2 events every single month. So this event, we wanted to bring it in because it's a really good competition at this store. So I really wanted to bring something good, not just for, shits and giggles. So we brought in Black Legion. Today we're going to go over the list. I do what I always do, where I take pictures of the event. We go over game by game, turn by turn on what I did, what I shot at, psychic power, moved, assaulted, all that fun stuff, and then what I could have got better at. I also give little tidbits on what the opponent could have done better and my mindset on what I'm trying to gauge, during the event, and trying to get as many points as possible. So if you guys are new to the channel, I really appreciate you click on the video. Thanks for trying to see what we do here. But if you guys want to join the Dirtbag Nation, go definitely hit the Discord button. There's a lot of people in there kind of help each other out all the time. If you want to support the channel, I do have to give a really big shout out to my Patreons. You guys are amazing. We're about 33 Patreons in right now. We just had enough to put in for a brand new camera for streaming. Also a thimble, whatever the hell, the gamble, whatever the thing is, where it's motion on your phone. You put your phone in this little thing and it stops it from moving as you move your arm. So it's really made for the battle reports that I do every single time and post those videos. So we're not going to be holding it handheld anymore. It's going to be done through a gimbal. I think that's what it's called. Okay, and besides Okay, and besides all the stuff that you guys are supporting, we are doing a lot more merch as well. So basically we got, let me pull up this image for you. We're doing, we got our guy on Fiverr to do little miniatures of, I'm trying to get almost every faction, but these are going to be on objective markers. I got stickers ordered. So when we get the dice coming in, probably in the next, I would say 2-3 weeks, once they get delivered, I'm going to put these up as well, which are going to be the stickers. Each individual one will have a sticker. There's going to be a collab of all of them for a sticker. So we got stickers, we got dice. These guys, I'm working with 3D6 Wargaming for the mats to do objective markers, so you guys can get your own custom objective markers. So you guys will be able to have a choice of doing one of each, or a custom where you can pick kind of different ones, or you can just do all the same one. Completely up to you, but a lot in the making. And again, it's thanks to you guys on Patreon. So if you do like the content, you do want to support us, go over to the Patreon, hit subscribe. There's a competitive Patreon. There's also a Grandmaster Patreon. If you guys really want to get into the competitive scene, you can sign up, PM me 101 on Discord, so that way we can go over tactics, ideas, and anything you guys want to see on the channel. Grandmasters get first pick once a month, where they get to give me a list and actually get to go on and play that list for them with a battle report. So that's the Grandmaster perk. So let's get into the video. So we have the list that we have to go over first. If you've seen my 5-0 win a grand tournament with Chaos, it's basically the same exact list. It performs so well that I wanted to see the consistency to make sure that it is good. So if you guys saw a Blog for the Blood God video where Black Legion was like 88% win tile or whatever, that's basically his list was 88% win tile. So his list is, I would say, pretty much completely different than what I'm running with Black Legion. I love the Black Legion. I think them and the Terminators kitted out exactly. You have two different threats. So the bikes can shoot really far and hit really hard, and then the termies can be in your face and just be almost unkillable. So I've been running them together with Abaddon, so that way he can buff up one. With the Vendetta, you can have the other one kind of hit on or reroll all wounds, which is just insane, especially against like a really brick target like Dark Angels or another Terminator or another Chaos build. So let's get in the list. If you guys can see this to the right here for you guys, we got Black Legion. So Abaddon, obviously he's in there. He does the buffs. He gives you +1 to charge. The Vendetta, like we went over, and he's got the Warlord traits. Dark Apostle, he's in there for the Cloak of Conquest, which is a Black Legion relic. Gives him OBSEC within 6 inches, everything core and character. So if you have your Abaddon just sitting in the middle of the board, he's OBSEC, and it's really hard to move him. And also the Illusionary. So you put the Illusionary either on the bikes turn 1 or the Terminator's turn 1, whichever one you're going to throw forward. Usually it's the bikes, because then they can kind of move out, shoot something, and be pretty confident that they're not all going to die. Or if you have going second, they could then move forward, and then you can kind of throw your Terminators out with Illusionary and just be super tanky from turn 1. So that's kind of the 2 ways to run him. Master of Possession, he's bringing the guy back. He can shank a guy, bring a guy back, extend the range. He also gives +1 strength or toughness, so that way the Terminators are toughness 5 or the bikes are toughness 6, or +1 strength if you're going anything to toughness 8 or higher. So if you're a toughness 8 on the enemy team and you need that +1 strength, and you go up to strength 9, you're wounding on 3s with full rerolls. It's just so much better against demons. Thank you for Nolan, who suggested that. And he's Slaanesh, so he's able to put out the Slaanesh buff on the Terminators or Abaddon. And also you can heal Abaddon, which is a little trick as well. He can cast 3 powers with the Libor. He casts 24 inches away. So this guy is a huge, so good with the list, like such a good buffer for the Black Legion Terminator build. Sorceress and Terminator armor. He's got the Chaos Familiar. He gets to reroll 1 for free. Combi Melta, just because he hits on 2s with the closest target. So anytime you Veilbreaker plate him, you can just combi Melta to the face. Death X and Diabolical Strength. Diabolical Strength I actually casted once, I think, in 3 games. Death X I didn't even cast at all. I think I took Warp Ritual once, which Warp Ritual definitely helped out with getting the center objective multiple times. So he's basically doing that, so that way he can't cast the other powers. You can spend CP, but with this list it needs CP a lot, so I try not to spend that 1 CP so I can cast again. So and then he's got the Mark of Jentzsch, so he basically ignores AP 1 and 2. I think that's with the Veilbreaker. So Veilbreaker ignores AP 1 and 2. He can gate a core unit anywhere on the table, even on turn 1. And also the Mark of Jentzsch, which ignores the first failed save. And he can give up 4-up invuln save to the bikes. So all these HQs just make the most sense with this current build. So they're very, very good with this list. We have a Cultist unit. They just do so well at screening. It's very hard to not bring them. So just a unit of Cultists. 2 units of Legionnaires, basic with last cannons. Just because with the Black Legion, you get +1 to shoot. So if you move them, you hit on 3s if it's the closest visible target. If they're standing still, they hit on 2s. So that's pretty good. And it's a last cannon shot, D6, AP3. And then the 10-man Terminator brick. So these guys are the niche of the army. Combi Meltas, 4 of them. Combi Plasmas, 4 Power Fists, 2 Chain Fists. And they got the Black Room Damnation, so -1 to wound. So they're basically Trans Hitmen, 4-up, no rerolls. They're toughness 5 with -1 to wound. And in Terminator armor, so they have a 2-up, 5-up. Like, they're not really going to move very, very easily. 440 points. Marcus Slaanesh. So 5-up Feel No Pain, I forgot about that. So they're just almost unkillable. It's funny because I'm going to go over one of the games where they actually died for the first time. So that's going to be fun to talk about. We have a unit possessed. These guys were probably MVP in all 3 games. The one game they killed 1, 2, 3, at least 4 units and a character in one game. It was ridiculous. Them charging in, hitting on 2s. You can spend 1 CP if they're Space Marines and then get full rerolls to hit. On turn 3, they're exploding 6s and they're strength 5, so they're usually wounding on 3s. It's crazy. Fast attack, this is the other big unit we got, is the Chaos Bikers. Their Mark of Jentzsch, so they ignore the first failed save. Also, they get +1 to their AP for their bolters and the plasma. So since they have core, their ranged weapons get +1 AP because of Jentzsch. So they're hitting their bolters at AP 1, which is really good. And then AP 2, if you do the Jentzsch, oh no, it's just the demon shells. So it's +1 to their AP and an extra 6-inch range. So you're shooting your bolters 30 inches away at AP 2. Which is very, very good, especially given full rerolls the hit and wound from Abaddon. Or if they're shooting against the target that has the Vendetta from Abaddon, they're hitting on 2s, exploding 6s on turn 1 and 2, and then Abaddon can make them turn 3, 4, 5. And then they're full rerolls the wound. Even without the buff from Abaddon, it's the Vendetta buff. So 2 Kami Plasmas. You can make these plasma guns if you can find the points. But I basically put Kami Plasmas in my Terminator units, as well as these guys. So you can take out the 2 Kami Plasmas from the Terminators and put them in these guys for just the plasma guns. But I do like having the Terminators overcharging with the rerolls with the Kami Plasma, because then they just hit so much harder. I love when the opponent says, "I didn't know Black Legion shoot this much." That is the best feeling anytime you play the game. Venom Crawler for the +1 cast against the Terminator Sorcerer and the Master of Possession. Definitely comes in key, plus he hits on 2s, exploding 6s because he's assault, 36-inch range, speed 12. Like he's a very good 105-point unit. If I can find enough to get 2 of them in the list, I totally would. And then Obliterator. So you could always change an Obliterator to another Venom Crawler, but I haven't found another unit to replace the Obliterator with. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. But the Obliterator is for behind enemy lines, to come down and do dominions on an objective, to come down and do an action on an objective, or just to come down and try and get a character that's off by himself with D3 plus 3 shots, I believe. D3 plus 6. I think it's D3 plus 6. So he's very versatile. One game in the GT, came back in my backfield just to kind of stop the home objective from being cleared. So he's there just to kind of deep strike every single game. We start with 1 CP because we definitely want to plan it out right, where I want to be able to pile in with my Terminators with the Slanesh strat, or fall back, shoot, and charge with the Terminators with the Black Legion strat. So you definitely want to make sure that you have the CP to do the strats during the game. So this is the list. Again, I have a pretty good breakdown during the GT video if you guys want to go check that out, but I'm going to make a whole video guide on kind of this list, how to build a chaos list, the strats that are really good for this list, and really what to do with this list. So we're going to get into the pictures like every other video, and then I'll kind of give you my insight on how each game went. So let's get into that. Alrighty, so first game against Death Guard. This guy, I met him for the first time and showed him to the channel, so he can, hopefully is watching this video, but he runs the list that I run. It's a little bit different. It has Typhus in it, which I was I love Typhus. He's like my favorite Death Guard character, but it's a ferryman build, so you can't charge them, or it doesn't count as charging within 12 inches bubble. So I kind of knew exactly what to do, how to play, and kind of coached him, throughout the entire game to kind of get him better, because he just started 9 months ago. I think he played great. Like he knows his shit, but he also learned a lot of new rules with the game as well, which him and his 2 buddies came to the same tournament, so he can then spread that on to them, and then they could spread it on to other people. So that's kind of the whole point of this channel and teaching people. So we want to teach him to get get him better at the game. There's no point of just tabling a person and neither of you learning anything. But if you're up by so many points and you kind of know that you have the game in the bag, you definitely want to kind of slow down for them, teach them, tell them the tactics that you would do, or whatever. He told me one thing. He's like, "What would you do?" And I'm like, "Honestly, I would just do this." And he's like, "Oh shit," and then does it and then kills my guy. So that's kind of the whole point of RTTs, is to practice lists, have fun, make friends, and kind of expand, your comfortability with other lists. So this is his list. It's 2 Plague Burst Crawlers, a Rhino, which I think was 3D printed, a Spawn. You have the Foul Blight Spawn with the relics. It's Ferryman build, so he has the extra ore on the relic. Tallyman, Ballast Putrefier, one of the best characters in the game. Then we have the 10-man Terminator brick, all 3 weapons. I think he had 3 10-man Plague Marine units, all kitted out the same way. We have Typhus, which is new. I probably would take Typhus out of this build and put in more Plague Marines. We have the Caster, and then the Flesh Mower. So pretty standard Death Guard list. We might have had 10 Poxwalkers as well. So this is the setup after turn 1, but it's the long deployment, so we're both going on the opposite deployment edge. You have 1 objective in the center, 2 on the sides, 2 on our field. And this is the setup. So they're using Games Workshop terrain where it's like L's. So every single time you see the pictures, just imagine 6-inch up over 6-inch down. So this is like a big L on both sides. So every single game, you guys are going to be seeing the same terrain setup. Here, it's the same thing. It's true line of sight. So if you're towing in, you can see through it. First floor is line of sight blocking on all the ruins. And then you got forests. These are supposed to be forests or dense. So if you're shooting over it or in it, you get -2 forest. So again, same thing is set up as Games Workshop, and you got a little kind of split room right there. And then his deployment, he's got basically a whole castle over here, 2 Blade Burst Crawlers back here, Rhino with Plague Marines. I think a 10-man Plague Marine was in reserves. And then you also have Poxwalkers over here to walk out and do that. He did the normal, Death Guard secondaries, which are really good. I did Warp Ritual on this one just because I knew I can get to the center pretty easily, and I wanted to fight for the center. So if I can hold these 3 objectives, I know I'm going to do pretty well. And he's really slow, so as long as I can shoot and kind of like keep running back, that is the goal. So these bikes definitely did work this game. On my turn 1, I basically ran my sorcerer out. He started right in the line. All the Terminators ran out. We got 1 guy onto the objective, just so that way on my turn, I potentially can get 12. So if he doesn't kill my whole Terminator brick, I'm going to try and get 12 points on the top of 2 because I went first. Abaddon ran out. This guy did transhuman or transhitman to the bikes turn 1. I gave full rerolls to hit and wound to the bikes. Terminators aren't really doing anything this turn, but I did give them feel no pain still and +1 toughness, so that way if they do get shot, they're not going to die that much. I did shank 1 turn 1 just so I can have 1 dead, so that way next turn I can do either Veilbreaker Plate or I can move up and make a guy. So that's the whole goal with the Terminator brick with Black Legion, is you want to make sure that you kill a Terminator turn 1. That way if they do Veilbreaker Plate, you can be 24 inches away and still make a guy instead of trying to run up and shank a guy. Everything else kind of stayed back. Venom Crawler stayed back, doesn't want to get shot. These guys stayed back, did the action. Possessed moved up. These guys walked out and did Dominions on that objective, and then these guys stayed back. These guys all scooted over 14 inches, got a line of sight onto the Rhino. I wanted to blow the Rhino up as soon as possible because how I use the Rhino, I told him this, is you should literally just put a Rhino in a building against the wall, so that way the Plague Marines can get out 8 inches and then charge, or get out 8 inches, do an action, get out 8 inches and shoot. Like that extra 3 inches for Plague Marines is huge. So if they're getting out extra 8 inches, that's their basic movement, and then they could charge. So putting that against like the wall here or even over here, they're getting out to almost up to here, and then they could charge whatever's in the center to steal the center objective because they're OPSEC. I would put 2 5-man units in a Rhino just so that way you can do 2 different things. If you have a 10-man, you get out and you fail your charge, well, now that 10-man's dead. I'd rather get out 5, fail the charge, and only 5 die. That was my suggestion to him, is do 2 5-mans in the Rhino and always put it against the building so it doesn't get shot turn 1, which is what I did. So I moved up, spent 1 CP for the extra AP and blew up the Rhino. And then this was his deployment. Just wanted to show you kind of where everything is. And then that's what happened. So these guys got out of the Rhino to the top left over here. We have these guys kind of moving out. They're very slow, but he's just running up to the center. We have the bikes. These guys are in dense cover. They ignored dense cover, which I completely forgot about. So he just kind of ran everything up. These guys shot at my bikes. I told him this as well. If he's going for fleeing vectors, which I believe he took, he has to kill 7 models. If he does, he gets 2 points. If he kills 7 models with a plague weapon, he gets 3 points. If that unit flees, he gets 2 points. If they flee because of a plague weapon, they get 6 points. So you can get potentially 6 points each battle phase. So if you have anything that has cultists on the table, you're basically lobbing the mortars into the cultists to try and kill 7 cultists and have them flee to get fucking 7 points. Like, that is your goal as soon as possible. So anything cheap units like that, you're going to try and kill the cultists as soon as possible. So that's what I was afraid of. He didn't do it though. He kept shooting all the shots into like a unit, trying to pick off the unit, but the unit just didn't die. So even if I would have taken grind against him, I would have done better, which I probably wouldn't ever take grind against Death Guard. But yeah, we're just waiting for him. So everything is moving up. Everything then runs away so that way he could slowly creep towards me. He did spend 1 CP to extend the range of the aura on this guy. So it's a 12-inch bubble with Ferryman of no charges. So you can charge, but you don't count as charging. So that way they get to fight first because it's defender that fights first. So if you don't have a fight last or you don't have a fight first, you're basically going to go second. So he spent 1 CP for that turn 1, which you can Veilbreaker Plate into it, which I might have. I'll let you know, but you don't have to if you don't think you're going to get charged turn 1. So ask like the threat ranges, can you charge me turn 1? If I say yes, then you want to do it. If I say no, then you probably don't have to waste that CP because it's still a 6-inch aura. Like the 6 inches still goes out to here. So I'm still not going to be able to charge, right? And keeping him behind the wall so that way he doesn't get sniped by characters or anything. All right, and then these guys went out and did the spread. And then my turn 2, we moved up the Terminators. I then made a Terminator, and I wanted to clear off, because that took long war, I wanted to clear off this objective. I didn't shoot any of them, I just wanted to charge them. So I charged in, cleared off that objective, took that objective, so that way he'll get 4 points on primary. I got 12 points because I did still have that Terminator in the center. And then I took over the objective, and I'm like, all right, now this side of the table is now mine. Because all he has is a flesh mower over there, which isn't going to kill, 7-8 Terminators. Plus, I'm super far away from his Terminators, which do a shit ton of damage. So I'm like, all right, I'm more than 17 inches away. I'm not coming towards you. You could have that little corner. I'm going to try and move quicker than you over to this side of the table. I did leave the center pretty open, so that way if he wanted to run to the center, he could, so that way I can get long war again. But I left the center open. I still had my 3 objectives, and he didn't get to the center again. So he took Warp Ritual, and he couldn't do Warp Ritual till, I think, turn 3 or 4. I happened to do it again right here behind the building. Everybody else is character protected back here. Bikes fell back, or moved back, to get line of sight on the Plague Marines up in this left corner. So we're slowly chipping away the Plague Marines. And we're not, the Vendetta was on the Terminators, but we're not shooting the Terminators yet because they're not close enough. Everything else moved back. I gave away this objective. So that way I have 1, 2. If he comes over here, I'll go for long war. If he comes over here, I'll go for long war. So that's the goal. So we gave him this objective so I don't give him a target to get the slingshot. With Death Guard, they're looking for closer targets to get that slingshot. So if he walks up and charges something and throws his units on my objectives, that's going to steal a lot of objectives for Death Guard. So I want to stay as far away as I can and shoot him so that way he's not getting any slingshot. All my guys moved back, possessed, cultists, legionnaires, bikes, everything's just kind of shooting from afar. So that was my turn 2. This is the side view. Oh no, this is still the same view. So now it's time to kind of move left and go after the Terminators. All right, so we move left. We did Veilbreaker Plate this turn, so we Veilbreaker Plated to be outside of 9 inches, full rerolls to hit and wound. Illusionary went off on the Terminators, and then we gave them +1 toughness and feel no pain. So they're slowly moving over, and they just literally shot all the Meltas, all the Plasmas, all the Bolters, everything into the Terminator unit. Abaddon shot the Terminator unit. The Obliterator came down and did Dominions on this objective. This guy moved over and did the action on that objective, the secondary action, Auspex scan. The Possessed finally moved up and cleared off that 5-man Plague Marine unit that was left that went on the objective. They moved up, charged, killed him, consolidated to try and block him from getting on the objective because he does have OBSEC. I don't. Cultists then just move up and kind of chill on the objective. So I have at least 1 OBSEC on the objective. Bikes, there's still 5 of them. They're slowly moving back, shooting from afar. Venom scooped over, shot from afar. Legionnaires are scooting up just to kind of keep coherency of everybody. This guy scooted up to try and shank a guy to make a guy, which it worked. And then that's it. So we kill all the Terminators. We shot a shit ton, and then we charged and finished him off with the charge. I didn't count his charging, so he fought before me. He killed, there's 3, 6, 7, 8. He killed 2 Terminators before I got to swing. So I charged him, didn't count his charging. He went first. He attacked, killed 2 Terminators. I finished him off and then consolidated on the objective. Everything within 6 inches of this guy, which we had to keep within 6 inches, is OBSEC. So I have OBSEC in the center. I got Long War down here for 3. And then he ran his flesh mower back here because he didn't want to charge my Terminators. Okay, so His turn moves his Plague Marines out from the building. Flesh Mower starts moving up to get, you know, in the fight. All the characters charge. I have 4 Terminators left, I think, before Typhus goes. Typhus then kills 2 more. So I'm starting to run out of Terminators. This guy scooted over this way to do the action in the center. These guys... oh shit, I didn't Veilbreaker Plate. So I didn't Veilbreaker Plate the other turn. I must have been close enough to walk up, make a guy, and then charge. So I must have Veilbreaker Plated my Legionnaires to get on the objective to do Dominions in the same turn. So I must have done Dominions in the same turn to get on the back objective over there. So that's when I did Veilbreaker Plate. This guy ran back by himself, kind of hold this back objective. Blake started moving up. Venom-Crawler came out. These Legionnaires moved up. This Abaddon just moved over and finished off the rest of the Plague Marines over here. My Possessed died pretty easily to his Plague Marines. And then he still has 2 Venom-Crawlers, a character, 2 characters here, and some Plague Marines. And the Flesh Mower. So this is the end of the game. We're wrapping up. Abaddon came back and finished off the rest of the characters. He killed all of my Terminators, I believe. I don't think I have any Terminators left. I have my OPSEC character, my Venom-Crawler charged in. The bikes moved up and shot. 1 cultist left on his back field objective. My Legionnaires moved up, charged the tank that was up top here. Like it was there, but it was up there. So charge there, consolidate on the objective to steal the objective. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objectives, and he has 2 Venom-Crawlers left. So that was basically by the end of the game. We finished it up with Primary, I had 45. Dominions, I had 4, 4, 4, 4, so 15. Long War, we had 3, 3, 3, 4. So we got 13. And then Ritual, I did the first 3 turns, which got us 12. So then that way my character was able to kind of move off and do more shit. For his thing, we had finished off with 95. First thing, he got Primary 4440, so that was the goal, to try and stop priming on that mission as much as possible. He got the Tertiary for 3 once, which gave him 15 points. Fleeing Vectors, he started killing my stuff, so he got 3 and 3. I didn't fail any morale checks. Spread, he did the first 2 turns on his home objective, so he got 8. And then Warp Ritual, he only got to do it once on turn 4. So then he got 3 for that. So he finished off with 42. So he finished off the Death Guard 95 to 42 first game. Again, he started the edition about 9 turns ago, and he played it well. I taught him a lot of stuff, so hopefully he's using that for the upcoming games. And in this game, he definitely could have set up a little bit differently, maybe deep striking the Terminators in, just because they're super slow, especially on a map this big or this wide. Long, I should say. And then also putting the 2 5-mans into the Rhino. And if you really want to run Typhus, run him as like a psychic, Cursed Leper, Smite, and just a psychic beat stick, and get him out as soon as possible. Deep strike him with the Terminators, just for the rerolls to 1. But I would probably switch Typhus just for Demon Prince, and put all the Arch Contaminator on him, the helmet, so it's +1, +3 to his range, so it's a 9-inch aura of reroll 1s, and a 9-inch Arch Contaminator. And he's a little bit more tankier. So that's what I would change about his thing. So that's what we did the first game. It was a good first game. Going into the second game, which then it was my Paul Soretti, who I haven't played in fucking 10 years. So that was cool seeing him and finally getting a game against him. But he ran a list that I've never played before. I never played Spaceball, so he was the first Spaceball player I've played ever. And it happened to be the guy that I used to play with all the time, way back in the day with War Machine. So this is going to be a fun game to talk about. All right, so we're going to try and go over the list. I don't know Space Wolves at all, so you guys will probably know a lot more than I do. But this is the first time I played it. It was pretty cool. It was an all-infantry list, so he gave up no prisoners pretty easily. So that wasn't really an issue there. But they're very fast. They hit very hard. Assault Doctrine, so they're all -1 AP on everything. And they have really cool secondaries. If he charges 2 units, or I think gets charged twice, he gets points. So he just has to make 2 charges a turn, and he gets, I think, like 3 points or something. So he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jump pack infantry units. He had 1, 2, 3 man of the Worgen dudes, the beast guys, which are all free Thunderhammer and Storm Shields. The leader has lightning claws. 3 units of these infiltrator dudes that can place bombs. So if you charge them, I think on a 2+, you take D3 mortals. A Melta unit that shoots twice, and then he has a free Terminator that can bring a missile launcher, and a little guy that can shoot again. He's got a character, Chaplain, a pretty beefed up melee character, and another give out free rerolls to hit, I believe, character. So that was a list. Again, a lot of infantry, a lot of scary shit going on here. We played the mission, which was the bomb mission, which if anybody knows my channel, it's one of my favorite ones. You kind of get to go out there and place as many bombs as possible. My goal with Chaos is to always put bombs down with the, right here, the Dark Apostle, because you can OBSEC. So anybody that has OBSEC can place a bomb down and it goes off that turn. So I put them as far forward as I possibly can, right on the line, because the thing is slanted, so you have to kind of start right at the cusp of it. So I put the bikes out just so he doesn't get shot. He doesn't have a lot of shooting, so I wasn't really afraid of the shooting. It mainly was trying to make sure that he doesn't die to charges. So he's starting all the way back here, so I knew I was pretty good. And then he had infiltrator unit here, infiltrator unit there. Everybody else blocked out over here. He then reserved the Melta guys, and I believe 3 units of the jump pack dudes came in from Deep Strike. He's got the Chaplain that can, I think, get +2 to charges for the prayer. And what else? I have Possessed over here. Possessed did amazing this game. If I can remember how many units it killed, it's going to be insane. So Possessed, troop unit, cultist, Venom Crawler, troops, bikes, Terminators, Abaddon, Master Possession, Sorcerer. So all my big hitting units are down here because I want to protect my Dark Apostle, and he had these guys there. This is really cool. So this is the one where it's sticky objective because of Space Marines. So he can start there in command phase, make it sticky, and then spend a CP to fucking get him out of there for a stratagem, which is so cool. Such a cool tactic. Then on my turn, he had turn 1. Wasn't very crazy turn 1. He basically just moved up, put OBSEC on everything. I don't know if he took banners or not, but we'll find out at the it's probably above my head. He moved everybody up, ran the beast guys up. He moved these guys up. These guys came in turn 2. Yes, so came in turn 2. These guys came in turn 2 at the top, and these guys kind of ran up and placed the bombs in. So his turn 1, moved those guys up. His turn 2, moved them up again and placed the bomb. My turn 1, I moved up and put a bomb down right there. It kept falling down, but it was like literally right there. So this guy moved up, put a bomb down right there. All the bikes moved up, and they basically shot the shit out of these guys right here. So they all have buffed up. We put the Terminators behind cover. He's within 6 inches of the Dark Apostle, so that way if next turn I want to give them Illusionary, I want to give them Illusionary, so they have to be within 6 inches of this guy. And everything else kind of like stayed back here. It was a very like not exciting turn 1, turn 2. Really turn 1, like we didn't do shit. We kind of just moved out. I took banners, so I put a banner down there, I put a banner down there. Everybody else kind of scooted back. And then on his turn, he deep struck these guys to try and get a 9-inch charge. He failed his litany, I think, over here for the +2 charges. So these guys ran out here to the center. They wanted to try and charge these guys, but I think he failed the charge. These guys scooted out, and these guys came in and just blasted the bikes. So I think he killed 1 or 2 bikes with the 4-up invuln save and the illusionary. So they had illusionary, they had full reels to hit and wound because of Abaddon, and they had a 4+ invuln from the sorcerer Terminator, Jentzsch Terminator. So that was basically it. So it wasn't really super exciting. We killed this unit right here with all the bolters. It was just super. Wasn't really sure how well they shot, and then we found out that they shoot really, really well, especially against unopened Space Marines. So they go up to AP2, so it's a 5-up save, 4-up if you have the Storm Shield. So he failed this charge, failed this charge, and failed this charge. He wanted to tie up my bikes, but I think he failed the charge. So on my turn, I gated. So I did my, oh no, I guess I didn't really have to gate. So they just moved up. I shanked the Terminator turn 1 like I've been doing. I made a Terminator, which then got the charge off on this unit up here and the unit that was on the objective. So they kind of spread out as far as I possibly could. Abaddon got into the fight as well. So Abaddon charged those 3 or those 5 guys. My other Terminators charged out, successfully made this charge. And then when Abaddon killed these guys, they piled in, consolidated in front of him, so that way they try to protect him a little bit. I took the 3 wounds from Abaddon because when he charged in there, I wasn't worried about him dying. So I fought with these guys first. And then Abaddon fought next, killed them. They did 3 wounds back because they have fight on death, which is really cool. Like, Worgens having fight on death is insane. So then I hold these 2 objectives. I'm OBSEC, so I stole that objective from him. I controlled the center objective, so I got rid of his... That token was the OBSEC, so he was able to have a sticky objective. I stole that from him. And then up here, the Possessed moved out, charged that unit that was failed the deep strike. So they killed that, consolidated into this unit, who were just placing bombs at the top. And they kind of just did 1 wound to them. So my Possessed killed that 1 unit that came down. On his turn, he moved everybody out. To move the Worgen guys out, he moved these guys out 12 inches from behind the building. Down here, moved all the characters up, and the Worgens moved up as well. So he's trying to get as many people into my Terminator squad as he possibly can, which I'm pretty confident because I know with the Illusionary, 5 Fountain Paint, all that stuff, it's very hard to kill him. This guy moved up, and he wasn't far enough to place another bomb because of the forest. So if you put a bomb there, move up 4 inches, and then put another bomb down, it's still too close to put another bomb. So I wasn't able to put another bomb down turn 1 because of the stupid forest. And I didn't really place it well over here. Bikes, stay back, shoot. There's not a lot to shoot at just because everything is behind the first floor line of sight blocking ruins. Terminator still kind of chilling back. Master Possession chilling back. Legionnaires moved up so that way I can get a pot shot on like one of these dudes over here. Cultists are trying to spread out to block the backfield. Venomcrawler moved up to get some shots off on these guys because AP2, 2 damage is really good for the Venomcrawler. I still have a unit of Legionnaires in this building right here. So on his turn, he charges into this unit up here with these guys. He charges into the Terminators, charging the Terminators, charging the Terminators, charging the Terminators. So everything's charging the Terminators. I couldn't get Abaddon into combat, but this is what happened after that charge. So he actually killed all of my Terminators. So doing AP2, I still only have a 4-up save, but AP2 into Terminators with a 4-up save, 5-up Feel No Pain, I didn't get... They all just died because it's damaged 3 weapons. Even if I were to kill the wolves first, they still have fight on death, so they can fight. So he made me fight last because his chaplain has fight last. So basically he got to go with all of his guys before I got to go with mine. So that kind of sucked. So I was impressed that he was literally, I was going to say this, he was literally the first guy in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 games to kill my Terminators with this list. And Nolan, who says Terminators are bullshit, I kept proving him wrong because Terminators never died. So now that they finally died, he can say Terminators are bullshit. So Abaddon's still alive in there, so he's got to do some work to try and pick these guys up. We got the bikes still here, kind of being able to shoot these guys. If I shoot these guys, then and they die, they don't have fight on death to shooting. So I have to shoot them, kill them to shooting. And Abaddon's got to do a lot of work with these guys. So up here, he charges in up here. I then interrupt with my Possessed, because there's still 5 of them left. So I interrupt with my Possessed. I kill 1, 2, 3, 4, leave this guy alive, and I kill the other 2 strike guys up there. So the last guys that are alive, I killed everything in there besides 1 guy, and then I think he fails the morale. Because I'm -1 leadership. He lost 5 guys, so 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So on a 5 or 6, you run away, and I think he ran away. So now my Possessed are free to do whatever they want. So far, they killed 2 jump pack infantries and a troop infantry. So that's 3 units so far this game. And what else? So that was that turn. My turn, we move Abaddon up to try and get a charge off on these 2 guys. All of the shots kill the Worgens from the Venomcrawler, the last cannon, most of these bikes over here. Oh, and Abaddon shot. So a lot of the shots killed these dudes. So all that's left are the jump pack guys, the fight last character, and 1, 2, 3 Worgens. Now he has 3 Worgens left because he made a lot of good saves, and I didn't, and it just he's got 3 guys left. So I thought I can kill him to shooting with fucking Zine shots, but without rerolls to hit and no rerolls to wound, T5 and bolters at strength 4 don't really wound T5 pretty reliably. AP2 is great, but I need 5s to wound. So I definitely underestimated the shooting with that going into this unit. So it's still 3 live. I charge in. Probably shouldn't charged in, but I charged in. I think I killed 1 more, maybe 2, and then he fights on death and kills all my bikes. So that was a mistake. Abaddon then moves up and just kills these 2 units pretty easily. I kill the character. I kill this guy. He does more wounds to me. I think I get bracketed down to like 4 or something. I did heal him last turn by 1, so he couldn't die in 1 phase. I then put another bomb down with my Master of Possession. So or Dark Apostle, that's what he's doing all games. So he's basically moving up, put a bomb down. Hopefully next turn move up, put a bomb down. This guy scooted out, do a little smite. I think he failed. Legionnaire is moving out to try and get rid of this bomb up top because he did place a bomb trying to get rid of it to try and win on primary. The Possessed move up, charge, and clear these guys out. So that's 4 units the Possessed have killed. God, it's so good. And then after this turn, what does he have left? So he kills all but 2 bikes. That was brutal. His guys that just 2 guys kill I think 6 bikes. Wow. Yeah, so that was awesome. Abaddon then finishes off these guys. And what else? Cool. So this is all that's left on this side of the table. My Possessor kind of just chilling all up here. I was able to make a Possess because 24 inches away, I just make a guy, which is crazy. Venom Curl is chilling in the center. And Obliterator came down over here. He wanted to try and shoot this character. Character has +1 in cover, so he's got a 2-up save. So I think I only did 1 wound to him. So the Obliterator shot him when he came down. And then on his next turn, he moves everybody up. So this guy moved up. I deep struck him 5 inches away from the objective, so that way next turn he could move up and put a banner down. So that's what he does. Moves up, puts a banner down. I still have the 2 banners in the backfield. Venom Curl is scooting up. This guy's scooting up. He's scooting up. Everybody's basically just running forward now. There's nothing really left on this side of the table. He moved his jump pack infantry in here to try and take care of the Possessed. His 1 character moved in here to try to take care of the Possessed. I interrupted, killed the OPSEC unit that was on the objective, so that way I can take over the objective. So again, I think that's 5 or 6. So 5 or 6 units that the Possessed have killed this game. Takes me down to, I think, 2 Possessed during his turn because his character got in and does, pretty good in combat. So his character gets in, does a ton of damage in combat. I have 2 Possessed left. Then the Possessed fight back. He lives. So on my turn, I make another Possessed right here. So there's 2 left with 2 wounds. I then make another Possessed. And that's all he has left. So basically this is the end of the game. So I make another Possessed just to make 3 Possessed, and then I kill the final character on the table, his Chapter Master guy, and take over his backfield objective. So this is the final score. We have killing shit 15. That was pretty easy. So we just had to kill stuff to get points. So he had, I think, 16 or 17 points of kill shit. Banners, we got 14. So we did 2, 2, 2, which is the 2 objectives that we have in our deployment zone. 3, because we placed 1 in his deployment zone. And then we got 5 the last turn. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so we got 5 on the last turn because I put a banner down on his objective and a banner down in the center zone. So we got 14. Engage, we took engage. I didn't get engage on turn 1 or 2, but we got 3, 3, 3 because of the Possessed, which was pretty far in his zone. So we got 9 on engage. For his, we had a 12 on turn 1 because of a sticky objective in the center. I couldn't stop the center objective from getting sticky. So we had 12 turn 1, which was awesome. And then I kept him to 4 the rest of the game, which was his objective. So basically got 12, 4, 4, 4, which is 24. Didn't get any of the primary because we de-bombed his bomb up at the top. I was able to get 45 for primary because we put 3 bombs down by the end of the game, which was cool. Again, that's my favorite mission. Codex Warfare, we got a 0. If you guys can let me know what Codex Warfare is, I forget what it is, but he wasn't able to get it. I think he has to kill units or something, or kill more than me maybe. Oath, he got 1-1-1-1 because he didn't fall back. He fell back, or he failed morale the one turn. The one guy died, and he wasn't able to keep anybody in the center objective because every time he put somebody in the center, I just basically moved out and cleared off the center. That's what the Terminators and Abaddon do. So Warrior's Pride, this is where he gets to charge or be charged. So we got 6 for this one. So winds up with a total of 44 to our 93. So again, it was great playing. What's his name? Sorati, Peter. So it was great playing Pete. It's been so fucking long. Can't wait to play him again. If he invites me over, I'm definitely gonna try and. I want to face this list again because now I know what it does. I need to shoot and not get in combat with it. If he gets me in combat, he just kills everything, which was insane. So I'm glad he's back in the scene. He's definitely a good tournament player, and his whole family plays. So that's awesome. So that was that game. Let's move on to our last game, which I'm super excited to talk about this one. Nolan, who is the local competitive guy that knows everything about 40k. He's always our go-to guy to say, hey, what tournaments are coming up, what RTTs are coming up, what's the top lists. Like, he knows everything about 40k, so that's why he's our go-to guy. He's running World Eaters. So in this tournament, this is two games or two armies that I've never played before. So we had an option, and he was, all right, let's play. So I was like, dude, just show me what the fuck they do. So he's explaining his whole list. I'm like, this is insane. So much shit. His secondaries are insane. His characters are insane. It's just an all melee beat fist. Every time his guys die or kills guys, he gets blood tokens, and he can spend blood tokens to buff up his army, which his army is basically made for 10th edition. It's like a lot less stratagems and a lot of stuff built in. So he's basically running a 10th edition codex, still in 9th edition. So he's running his list. This is, I think, his new favorite besides demons, but it runs pretty similar to demons. What does he have? He's got, and I kind of remember, so he's got these big buffy dudes, the legionnaire ones, like the exalted. So he's got 2 units of 3 exalted, 3 units of the regular exalted or oathbound. He's got 3 spawn, which are just buffed up, Corn spawn. He's got a unit of the crazy cultist dudes. He's got 2 rhinos. He's got 3 or 4 units of corn guys. So I think they're 4 units of 5 corn berserkers. And then he's got these 2 characters in the bottom. So he's got the one that has fly, which is cool. And then he's got the other one on just the regular mount. One can do increased movement by 2 inches, which is awesome. So all of his guys just move 2 inches. He's got a pregame move, which also increases it by 2 inches. So if he moves up 11 inches, turn 1 for pregame move, and then he can move up 11 inches again, he's basically 22 inches across the table before you even get to move your guys. So wait till you see the deployment. That's my deployment. So if you guys are ever playing Blood Angels or somebody that can pregame move that much, and you're pretty quick, like this list is made for the Terminator, so if you're pretty quick, you can do this. If you're very slow, like Death Guard, you're going to want to deep strike or reserve people to get on the board and not get alpha strike turn 1. So with this list, I'm pretty quick just so I can gate out turn 1 if I needed to. And I have my bikes in reserve this game, which is the first time I put them into reserve. So that was a good test. But this is my deployment. So it's the 9-inch circle in the center. So you have to be 9 inches away from the center objective, which he's basically all on the line, because if he goes turn 1 and then gets the pregame move, he's just in my face. He starts with 4 fucking CP. How? That is, he's got 2 shit. It starts with 4. I start with 1. So he's already way ahead of me. And what else? So we got everything as far back as we possibly could. These guys, I think, are just out by these guys, and I'm in the forest, so it'll be -2 to charge anyway. So I took Engage on this one again. I took, what's it called? Long War. I forget what the last one I took, but it'll be above my head. So with this one, I really wanted turn 1 so I can get into the game, because if he doesn't go turn 1, he's still kind of like moving up or moving back. So we happen to get turn 1 on this one, so I really lucked out. That's his deployment. It's just everything is forward. Okay, so I got turn 1, moved everybody up. Ran. Didn't really go that far. Venom Crawler scooted up to try and get line of sight on here. I want to kill his cultists. I asked if he can bring his cultists back. I believe he said no. So I wanted to kill his cultists because I know cultists always do work. Like in any list that you can kill cultists, just kill cultists. Because if you get them to run away, you know, they flee. Sometimes the opponent loses points. But having a 50-point unit that can do actions, be OBSEC, steal objectives, and do all that shit, like that's one of the best 50-point units in the game. So I'm trying to put as many shots into the cultists as I possibly can. So I think we kill all but 4 in one turn. I didn't gate turn 1. I wanted to kind of like shank a Terminator, make sure I can make a guy. So I move up, shank a Terminator, kill one. Abaddon runs up, this guy runs up, these guys run up, and everything else kind of like just chills. So we put 6 shots into the possessed, kill some cultists. And then on his turn, he rolled a 1 back here, re-rolled it, and he wanted to get his possessed or his thing on the objective. He couldn't, because if I kill him on the objective, he gets points. And then he rolled like a 2 or something to get the other possessed down, or the other spawn down here. He couldn't get on the objective. Then he rolled like a 4 or something to get the cultists, and he couldn't get them on the objective. So he couldn't get anybody on the objective turn 1 besides this rhino. And rhinos don't count if I kill them off the objective. You don't get points for killing rhinos, which is something we had to look up. He thought it was vehicles. We looked it up. Excluding vehicles, you can get points. So he has a unit of 4 guys that are strung out right here. They're dead, obviously, but they're strung out right here. He had a spawn right here, and then he had his rhino right there, and the 4 cultist guy behind this wall. So I'm thinking, this is my mindset, guys. Again, first time going into World Eaters, and if I kills rhinos, he gets points. Right now, he's at 2 points. If he gets to 3 points, he can spend points at the end of the morale phase or any phase, and then he can use points to do stuff. He can spend 3 points to get +1 to charge for the rest of the game. So my mindset is like, all right, I don't want him to have that. So if I kill this rhino, he'll get 2 points. So then he'll be able to spend and get +1 to charge. So when his guys come out from deep strike, he has an 8-inch charge, which is very doable. So this is my mindset. I reserved my bikes in the top corner here. We had our oblit come down up here. We then shoot, I think we got 5 or 6 line of sight guys into these Oathbound, and we kill 3 of them. The obliterator then shoots and kills none of them, maybe, I forget. But there's 1 left, which can do work, right? The possessed run onto the objective, so they get up here. The Venom Crawler gets line of sight onto the Rhino, does some damage. Cultists move up. These guys scoot up. This guy runs back now because he already has a shanked guy that he can make a Terminator. I gate my Terminators over to here to be outside of 9 inches of the Rhino. So we gate all the Terminators right here. I then make a guy. So that way my charge is like a 5 or 6 inch charge. And this is what I was saying. I don't want to kill the Rhino, but I do want to steal the objective because I have Long War. So if I charge the Rhino with a random accursed weapon and not get anybody else in combat, I only have to attack with the accursed weapon. So I attack with the accursed weapon. Obviously, I don't kill the Rhino, and then I steal the objective. So that's what I did there. Is I stole the objective. I didn't kill the Rhino. And I got Long War, and his Rhino's still alive. So if he doesn't move his Rhino off the objective, I can kill it next turn, try to get more points. And that's kind of what we did here. So his turn, very, very good turn too. This is what happened. So he gets his corn guys out of the Rhino this way. He gets his corn guys out of the Rhino this way. These guys back here deep struck. You can't see behind my head, but they're behind my head right here. They deep struck in my backfield to try and kill my master possession, which is huge. This guy ran up to the objective. I'm not sure if he got the charge off or not. Who else? Spawn got on the center objective. Still 1 unit in here. Still 1 unit in here. Spawn back here. Everybody else is kind of chilling out back here. Okay, so what happened here? He charges my dude, my sorcerer. See, she's like right here, and we were trying to I was trying to explain this to him at the end of the thing. So I fight first. He learned something new in this game. I fight first. Since I didn't charge, I can consolidate towards the closest enemy unit and get them into combat and attack them. he didn't know that we can consolidate into combat and attack them. You can't do that if you charge. So if you charge a unit, you have to only attack that unit unless somebody else heroic intervenes. But in this situation, it's his turn. He charges my guy to get all of his guys into my thing. He basically like right about here, which is well within 4 inches of my Terminator. So he charges in, kills this guy. I fight first. I move all my guys 3 inches, up. I get like 1, 2, 3 guys in range of his dude. So I clear off this 5-man berserker unit by moving my guys up and getting on this unit. The rest of them kind of scooted up here to try and kill the rhino, to try and blow up the rhino. I think we get the rhino explosion. And then he puts his guys on the other side of the wall here, which is great. He gets a charge off. He needs a 7, gets a charge off on my cultist. So he kills my, I didn't even think about that. Like, I was like, holy shit, his guys threaten like 13 inches or 11 inches out of the rhino, which is so far. And I'm like all the way back here. I didn't even think about him charging my cultist. So that was huge. Him killing my cultist because it was my OPSEC. I was going to move him up next turn and try and put steal the center objective to get at least 2 points. He made his charge back here, so he needs a 9-inch charge. He makes his charge and kills my master possession. So in my turn, I lose my master possession. I lose my cultist. I lose my sorcerer. Oh shit! And what else did he? I don't think he kept everything else in his. Yeah. So this is the end. So they made it there. They made it there, and then this is kind of where it ended up over here. So you see I'm like pretty close to just kind of pile in. And then that was about, and then this guy over here charged and killed my, might have killed 1 possessed or not, but it's behind that big ass wall. Okay, so I have to come back now. This kind of sucks. There's his 3 guys right there. This is going to come up in a little bit, which we too, you see what we do there. And then these guys piled into my dudes over here to keep them from shooting. So they got to attack, didn't really do anything. Venercrawler has to come back down and do something. I can't fall back because they have a 4-up no fallback thing, which is really cool. So I try and fall back. He rolls a 4-up. I can't fall back, so I can't even shoot them. I have to then just charge them. These guys are a pain, so Abaddon has to go up and deal with them. So I want Abaddon to move up, charge, kill them, pile onto the center objective to try and stop him from getting 4 points. And then over here, I have to kill these guys and then take the point, potentially just kind of charge. This is the turn that I really want to... Fuck. This is the turn that I really want to charge these guys over here. So everything's against the wall. I'm like, all right, I'm pretty close. I can spend a CP, advance, charge, but I just wanted to kind of move up, make a guy, and then get that charge up. But I can't make a guy because my guy's fucking dead. Okay, so we put all the buffs on them, illusionary, everything else is off. They don't have the life agonies, they don't have +1 toughness, they literally just have illusionary and rerolls hits and wounds from Abaddon because my guys are fucking dead. So, what do I have to do? These guys have to do work. So, Obliterator has to do work. Everybody has to do work. Like, this is on the back foot right now. So, this is where it comes into play. This thing right here, let me see if I have a picture of it. Yes. So, my Terminators move up. My guys that were in Legionnaires were in reserves. They walk on from reserves, and they go to shoot this unit, right? So I only kill 1 guy with like a last cannon or something. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to shoot this guy and kill some and then charge him, right? So he's got this strat. It's not even a strat. It's built into the thing. So if he loses a corn guy, he can roll D6 and they have to move towards the closest unit. Now they can get into engagement range during that. Fuck. Like, I remember he told me this in the beginning of the game, but obviously it's a brand new thing. I'm always going to remember that now, but I didn't fucking remember that. It's kind of like the gotcha game that I played against Zach the one time where I got my guys out of the rhino, moved up across the table to go say, all right, I'm going to charge your character. He's right against the wall, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go charge the character. Character then makes me fight last. I'm like, what the fuck? You're going to play a gotcha game? We're playing a fucking gotcha game. And like from then on out, Zach's always been fun and never played the gotcha game again. But then this was the gotcha. He felt bad. I felt like a dick because I was just pouty puss for the rest of the fucking 2 turns. I was like, well, that fucked up my whole plan of coming back because I was good. Look how far up I got these guys. So they're basically up here. I wanted to shoot, kill the rhino, shoot, kill this thing, shoot, kill these guys, charge the rhino, surround the rhino, tag these guys. Like I wanted to do all that, But instead, I'm stuck in combat with this fucking corn unit down below here. So I was like, all right, bro, you want to play gotcha game? We're playing gotcha game. I didn't say anything to him for like the next 2 turns. I was just like, roll my dice. I was like, all right, 10 wounds, whatever, do that. I felt bad afterwards, and I apologized to him because it was just such a dick move. But at the end of it, by like turn 4 or 5, he didn't mess up once. I was like, all right, I'm gonna not say anything, and hopefully he fucks up once, and then I could do a stratagem, which is like either fall back, shoot and charge, or pile in because of the Slaanesh for the Terminators. But he's too good of a player that he just doesn't fuck up. So at that point, I was like, you know what, fuck it. You did a gotcha. I fucked it up. I apologize. Whatever. So that was that. So he did the gotcha, right? Which isn't technically a gotcha. I mean, it's an RTT, a friendly RTT. It's not like we're in the top table GT, whatever. All right, I'm over. We're done. Gets into my Terminators. Terminators then kill them. I get Long War. Abaddon charges here, kills them, piles onto the objective. These guys, the Possessed, holy shit, I guess they had to come down here to try and kill these guys to clear this. The Obliterator moved onto the objective up here. The Bikes moved up to try and shoot the Chaos dude right here, which I didn't do really any damage to him. Again, no rerolls to anything, no rerolls to hit, not exploding because it's turn 3 now. So it's like they're not good by themselves. They're better near Abaddon. So if you're going to run Bikes and you're going to reserve them, try and reserve them on the table where Abaddon is, because then they're so much fucking better. So that was my mistake in this game, was I reserved them too far, the Bikes. I should have just kind of brought them in down here and then came up the side to try to shoot the flank this way and just left my Obliterator at the top there and the Possessed. So that was my mistake. So this time we kill these guys, kill those guys. And let me find out where we're at. So right here, we finish off this unit. Possessed now have to start working the way back up. These guys are kind of chilling right here. We blow up the Rhino. We kill these guys. We then consolidate into this unit. He consolidates on there. And I think that was my turn. I had these 5 guys down below here. So they're hopefully going to go up and do dominions on that bottom objective. So let's go into the next turn. He brings his commander out that flies, so he just hops right over and charges. I only have 4 Terminators left. He has these Exalted run out, Oathbound, whatever. They're fucking awesome. Corn left, and that is it. And then he deep struck. Oh no, they just ran out. So they moved out 11 out here, and then had like a 7-inch charge. They make the charge up here. So I have Oathbound in my Bikes. I have Oathbound in my Terminators. And then these guys deep struck down here to try and kill my Dark Apostle. He failed the charge. I think he rerolled or failed it again. Fuck. Okay, so end of this turn. Oh, and he got as a unit back here behind my head. So it's right here. So he has a deep striking unit back here, deep striking unit right here. These guys came out. These guys came out. So this is the turn where he basically just floods and kills the rest of the enemy. So he failed the charge here, which is 9. So he failed, reroll, failed, and then got the charge off on the rest of these guys. I fight first, so I was able to kind of like fight before he goes. I put a couple attacks into these guys, a couple attacks in the character, and then all these guys are basically dying up here. All right, so what do we do next turn? We move our Possessed down to take care of these guys in the back corner. So Possessed come down because Possessed, I think I spent 2 CP to do reroll +1 to wound on them. So I charge, hitting on 2s, exploding 6s, and +1 to wound. So I'm wounding on 4s, 3s. So I wound on 3s. And then Beno Crawler shot and took care of this guy down here. These guys scooted out. Obliterator scooted out. Bikes spent 2 CP to fall back, shoot, and charge. So Bikes fell back, shot the guys that were in combat with them. He moved up, shot, and then charged those guys as well. He's actually really, really good in combat. He hits on 2s charging because he didn't suffer any minuses. And then he's like strength 8 or 10 with AP 4. Like he's really good in combat. I'm actually going to start using him in combat more often. This guy moved up and did dominions on the bottom objective. We have Abaddon moving up and doing work. So he told me that he was going to essentially ignore Abaddon, which gave me more confidence to use Abaddon because he can't do 3 different phases of killing him. So he scooted up, stole the center objective because of OPSEC. Abaddon scooted up and charged all 3 of these guys. I have 1 Terminator left, which I can't bring any more back because my dude's dead. And then all he has left is the character up here, the spawn, this spawn, and this guy right here with 1 wound. So by the end of the game, we have this guy remaining, which the Possessor is still in combat with. These guys are on the objective. I think my guy, where's my guy? I think my guy died somehow. Somehow my guy died in the center. Abaddon's sitting on the center. This guy's still alive. Spawn's chilling back there. My Obliterator and Bikes are still behind here. And everything else over here is dead. So, end of the game. This is the final wrap-up. And this is the final score. So, we have 45 for primary. That was the main thing that I got him on, was primary. So I had 4 turn 1 because I was only on my backfield. He had 4 his turn 1 because I stole the 2 objectives. And then we had 12, 12, 12. So primary was huge on this game. We had 2 for the tertiary, so 2, 2, 3. Long war, we had 10. So we stole 1 long war on the turn 2 when the Terminators came in. That was 2 points. And then we killed enough shit to take it back to get 4 and 4. This turn I didn't get any because he didn't have any on the objectives, which was smart by him. Dominions, we had 1 turn 1, which was our table, I think. 4, 4, 4. So we had 4 the rest of the game, so we got 13. Engage, we only had 2, 2, 2, 2. So I didn't really get into his deployment zone because it's World Bears or World Eaters. They're going to be in front of you like the whole game, so that was tough. His turn, 4, 4, 4 for primary, 2, 2, 3 for the tertiary, and then blood for Blood God. He had 4, 2, 1. Piles of Skulls, which he said was super easy to get, which I agree with him now. You spend your points, your tokens that you get every single turn, and then if you spend 3, you get 5 points. So the more you kill shit, the easier you get 15 on. So that's like an auto 15 for World Eaters, which is cool. And then Blood Gods do. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got 7 for the Blood Gods do. I think you keep tallies of, again, if people die or you kill stuff or something like that. That's what we got. So we finished off with 86 to 62. So that was it was closer game in my head because I lost all my characters by turn 2. But farther away in his head because he knew that he was losing on primary. And when you're losing on primary, you have to stop his primary. Like, that's one of the only things you could do. But if you can't stop the other person's primary and they get average secondaries, which is what happened here, I got 10, 13, 8. Like, those are pretty average secondaries. I maxed out on primary, though. So maxing out on primary and getting average secondaries, you can still get close to a 90. As long as you stop their primary, you're most likely going to be winning the game. So that's basically what I found out at the end of the game. And again, I apologize for Nolan for being such a bitch for the 2 turns because of the gacha. I hate gacha in the game, especially at a local RTT. If it was like a GT, like round 5 top table, like fuck yeah, don't tell me shit, man. Like, you do you. But with this, a little bit different. So I apologize. That was my mistake. You can call me a bitch. Do whatever you gotta do. But no, we're still cool. So that was the wrap-up of the 3 games. So let's get into the wrap-up of the tournament. All right, so this is the final standings. Cory, I think he started this edition, but from the first time I played him, I think it was the first time we met at AU, he has just been getting better and better and better and better, and Demons is what he's running, so he's just winning a lot more now. And I beat him by 1 point. So Nolan almost stopped me from winning the tournament by 1 fucking point, which is super close. Like, I almost had to post in the video, like, Black Legion go 3-0 again instead of Black Legion winning, because anytime you play an RTT and there's multiple 3-0, which there was 3 3-0 players. So they're all pretty close, 270, 273, and then 274. It goes wins and then battle points. So this was a great turnout. I think it was like 20 people. And again, this store, they do very competitive people, very competitive, players show up. It's good practice, great practice for upcoming RTTs and GTs. So I always want, these guys to kind of come over and we can get games in. So Cory, if you're watching, if you want to come out and get a game in, I'd definitely love to record with demons. Nolan, you got to get your shit painted so that way we can record on the channel. Brian was actually supposed to be in the video with Tao. He was like top 18 at Nova. So Zach, he's always in the top. Like he ran Botan today, but he's usually Blood Angels. But this top core right here, if you guys ever want to come out and get some recorded games in, Dirtbag Nation will definitely appreciate that. So let's wrap up everything, guys. This was a great tournament. What's coming up to the channel? First off, Patreons, again, thank you so much. We just got I'll bring it. So we just got one of these cool ass thingies, which was fucking expensive. It's one of the things that you gimbal. I don't want to break it. Watch me fucking struggle with this. Okay. So it's one of these gimbal things where you put your phone on and then it like stabilizes, and it's really, really cool. It was top rated, #1 gimbals that you could buy for a phone. So we bought this thanks to our Patreons. So everything you guys are supporting the channel with is going back into the channel. So it's not going into my pocket. It's going into more investments for the channel, whether it be dice, stickers, mats, artwork, gimbals, stands. I bought a camera for overhead view for the streams. Streams are going to be worked on very soon. So yeah, everything. Thank you, all my Patreons and guys that support with tips and shout outs and whatever the hell, super chats, whatever the fuck they're called on YouTube. Thank you so much. Next, if you guys are new to the channel, there is a Discord. Everybody helps each other out in there so much. It's grown so much in the past, couple weeks. We're at 2,300 subscribers. My goal is to get to 3,000 in the next month, which I think is 100% doable, especially with the videos that are coming up. We have how-to videos that are going to be exploding on the channel, how to prepare for GTs, how to win more tournaments, win more games of 40k. That's going to be huge, especially going into 10th edition. 10th edition, by the time you're watching this video, got released, leaked out. Everybody knows it's coming. Lion is fucking coming out, which is going to be insane. But a lot of stuff is coming to the channel. So guys, I really appreciate you clicking on the video. The best thing you could do, I think, is watching another video on the channel. Comment if you did like the video. Comment what we can improve on. And also just let me know by joining the Discord, sending me a DM, joining our Facebook, and watching another video. That algorithm is going to help out so much more than just hitting the fucking subscribe button. Hit it though. Hit the subscribe button. So guys, I appreciate it. We will see you in another video soon.